Hello everyone, this is Crota gonna give you a shoutcast between Sen and Grez here on Scrap Station. Sen spawning as the yellow Zerg player over here at what I'll call the 12 o'clock position. Meanwhile, across the darkness of space and this little void here, we're going to have Grez spawning as the purple Terran player. So Terran versus Zerg here on Scrap Station. We'll see what type of opening we're going to be seeing from both of these players. Actions per minute and being spammed already on the 178, 276 actions per minute timeline. Always want to see what exactly or how fast these players are trying to really move. So this is currently Sen's screen and just highlighting a lot of these units moving around with that Overlord. Now taking a look at Grez. Grez now setting up a very interesting barracks. Okay, the everyone key doesn't work. Setting up a very interesting barracks over here. It's going to really open up for a very, very wide front door. So I'm not really sure what exactly his strategy is. This Overlord, however, now that I think about it, if there is an Overlord and he knew what Sen's race was, Sen was most likely going to be thinking that this Overlord is going to come over and try to do some scouting. Now with this barracks so far down off into the corner, if the Overlord doesn't make it far enough in time, Sen may think that there is going to be some sort of proxy barracks. And if he thinks there's some sort of proxy barracks, he's going to try to scout out with this Overlord, and then he'll be stuck over land with the Marine shooting underneath him. So yeah, really, really interesting. We'll see how this works. He should not get a tech lab onto this barracks. Should start training a Marine right away. Yeah, it doesn't even have gas, so cannot train that. And now SCV moving out. I do not think, yeah, Sen does not see that SCV, doesn't see any barracks, and is probably very, very curious exactly what's going on right now. We already have the refinery going down. Overlord still scouting out, still does not see this single barracks over here, and as soon as a Marine pops out, that Overlord is going to find itself on the wrong end of a Gauss rifle. And here it comes. Marine now coming in. The Overlord realizing his mistake, trying to fly away. But without that upgraded movement speed, that single Marine will be able to get off with a very, very easy kill, forcing Sen to produce an additional Overlord very, very early on. He's going to be stuck supply-wise. No, we'll be able to get up to 16. And then they're going to lose that Overlord. So going to go head up to 16, lose that Overlord. And then now we'll be a little bit behind the 8 ball at this point. He really wants to be able to continue to get some additional additional drones, and perhaps train up an additional Overlord as well. Spawning pool is going to pop up, so Queen will be trained. But wow, first blow dealt by Grez. Grez now lifting up that barracks and putting it in its standard position over here. So very nicely done by Grez. Grez really just playing the mind game with Sen. I really like that play. Back over here, Grez now moving out with these Marines. Marines now moving out. There is a drone coming out to try to take down this particular SCV. However, those Marines will be able to come on in and then perhaps take down. No, not able to take down that drone. That drone comes back and then will escape once again. Yeah, Sen now with an Overlord in the air, trying to keep track of where those Marines are. Marines now shooting down at that drone. Drone escapes with 2 hit points, getting caught a little bit early there, so able to escape with another scouting drone, and that drone will be able to harvest some additional minerals. If you did not know, there are now destructible debris sitting off in this location, helping to protect this natural expansion. So units are no longer able to just run on in. They have to run around this whole entire, run through these brown or these black gas vents. Sen now moving out with 4 Zerglings. Those Zerglings may be able to take down at least this scouting SCV that's activating that Zelnaga watchtower. SCV now trying to get away from those Zerglings, and those Zerglings will not be able to catch them as they do not have the metabolic speed increase. So no speedlings for Sen just quite yet. No research yet. Just started getting some gas from that extractor. Back over here, SCV now going to go ahead and move up that ramp. Hellions now going to be produced most likely, and perhaps, or just a quick straight build into a starport, sitting on a fair amount of gas, 211 gas, and now those 4 Marines able to get off a 1 or 2, yeah, 2 kills off on those Zerglings, and those Zerglings are going to be forced to head back home. No training there. An armory now being placed down, so Grez looking to, I guess, go for a fast Thor. So that's the only reason to put down an armory at this stage in the game. A Thor and the Starport. Starport, in order to get a medevac, the medevac will be able to pick up those units. Army-wise, 4 Marines against 3 Zerglings. Not too much to report here. Sen now probably has the Harvester advantage. Yes, 26 Harvesters compared to 20. So there is a little bit of discrepancy, or a little bit sorry, not discrepancy, a little bit of an advantage by Sen in order to get a more of an economic boost there for Marines, and will be able to shoot down those Zerglings. However, Zerglings quickly doing a run by, however, so now those 4 Marines will be forced to try to chase down those Zerglings. 2 Marines splitting up, perhaps trying to get a little bit of a pincer onto those Zerglings. Zerglings now perhaps will be able to take down one of those SCVs. No, still running back around. Another Zergling getting taken down, and now finally one finds the wrong end of a flamethrower, and there it goes. Tech Lab now being thrown down as well. No medevac being trained. Thor should be trained up in just a moment. Thor costing 200 minerals, or 300 minerals, excuse me, so that will be a little bit of a delay, and now going to go ahead and train that up. A Hellion, single Hellion now moving out from Grez. Grez trying to do some scouting with this Hellion, should be able to deal enough damage and push us out. Sen with a single Overlord on that high ground, so Grez does not see it as that Overlord is doing a decent amount of scouting, and now that Hellion is just going to run straight into this drone line, so perhaps trying to get a couple of quick kills. And will it be able to take down any of these units? Not quite yet, as those Zerglings now trying to chase down that Hellion. Hellion double backing around, perhaps going to be able to get another drone kill. One more kill. Oh, that drone was able to survive as it was able to regenerate 1 hit point, and then before that flamethrower hit it again. So the natural biological healing of those Zerg units did make a difference in this particular case. Thor now being trained up, so Thor going to be trained, and then a medevac should be dropping the Thor into the main base of Sen. There are 2 queens, however, so those 2 queens should be able to do a fairly significant hold against their own, as long as they have enough energy. The energy on the queen, 58 and 14. Overlord spots this little package, and that Thor will not be able to drop that easily. Queens now trying to shoot shoot their acid spines into that medevac. Medevac taking 1 hit, and now trying to come around the long way. Zergling still keeping track of that package, so the medevac still flying. Queens may be able to get a couple more hits in there. No, not enough hits. That range is just beyond 7. As the medevac now flying around, those queens off that creep will not be able to get it nearly as quickly. There is going to be 1 single spine crawler down here, so will that spine crawler be able to hold off a Thor? Perhaps. So there are a couple of Zerglings, and now that queen now taking or throwing some acid spines up on that medevac down to 118, and we now have Sen grabbing the high yield mineral expansion over here at what I'll call the 7.5 position here on Scrap Station. Back over here we have a couple Marines. Now it's placing down a bunker, so a bunker right by these vents over here. Not quite sure if I agree with that, just because units can do a quick run by here. Now a siege tank gonna go ahead and siege up. Perhaps a siege tank should sit right here. And now some Zerglings now coming in. And now this is just gonna be really, really horrible. Zerglings able to do a quick surround. We'll be able to take down that siege tank like it's nothing. And now take down that additional SCV. Marines and Marauders now moving out. Things just not looking good. Medevac perhaps will finally do a drop. There are enough queens, however, here in order to fight back. And now Spinecrawler may be able to take down, or sorry, the Thor may be able to take down the Spinecrawler. Spinecrawler quickly taken down, and now focusing down that queen. Queen taking 2 rounds of attack, and now going after a couple of those Overlords, and now perhaps going to go after some of those Zerglings. A single Thor taking a lot of damage from those Zerglings, but those Zerglings unable to get a real surround on it over there. However, Zerglings now running into the main base of Grez, and wow, Grez is in a lot of trouble here, unless he gets a lot of Hellions and be able to micro that Hellion absolutely perfectly. No, that Hellion is quickly getting taken down. Marines and Marauders once again joining in on this fight. Zerglings able to take down a lot of these SCVs, and the SCV count of Grez just falling dramatically here. Wow, so not looking all too well. A single Zergling still being left, and now there is another medevac being trained up, and there is still this medevac here. Medevac still holding that Thor, and will be able to once again drop, perhaps take down more of these drones. No, going instead after those Overlords, and that is not a really smart move. Should perhaps consider trying to take down some of those other units there. Thor now being pushed away as those queens were trying to take down that medevac, and now that Thor will get taken down, but however takes a queen in the process, so that Thor was worth it just a little bit. Grez now up and lifting off with his orbital command here, a Zergling preventing him from landing. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Grez and Sen here on Scrap Station.